8, 9, 10, 11,
Yeah, banana
12,
bread.
13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Just making bird noises at this point. Doesn't matter.
And hello, everybody. Welcome to another This Week at Bungie. Just to preface, this one is not as meaty as the other one, but still really good because we get to learn more about Festival of the Lost and all that fun and excitement. Yeah. So, what's gonna happen is we're going to read this TWAB, give our little thoughts about it. It's probably gonna be very little thoughts, but we're gonna give our thoughts about it. And then we're gonna do a little bit talking about the lore and some theory crafting and some theories for Beyond Lights and all that fun and excitement. Because you've seen the trailers, right, Neil?
Oh yeah, I'm here, by the way.
Yeah, he's here, by the way.
We're actually doing this from my place. So
Yep.
that's why things are a little bit different right now.
Yeah, and there's no cam like there usually would be.
Yeah. He's also learning the benefits of my version of streaming.
Yeah. Because he has something I don't for some reason, and we have the same version, so.
I know, it's so weird.
Really weird.
Anyways.
Anyway. I'm also eating banana bread.
Really good.
It is. Got some butter on it. It's nice. Speaking of banana bread, I went with Neil to a bookstore, and we picked up the Destiny cookbook.
Yeah, so now I'll be able to actually craft all of those crazy stuff you have in game in real life for him.
Exactly.
Something I enjoy.
It's going to be really interesting and really cool. I look forward to that. Anyway, let's get into the meat of things right here. This week at Bungie, October 1st, 2020. This week at Bungie, we're summoning some ghosts. Next week, we're getting spooky up in the tower again. Festival of the Lost returns on October 6th for more fright-filled fun. This year's festival is going to rock. They have the trailer and everything. For those that haven't seen the trailer, you can watch it. We're not going to play it here because we have some actually things to get to. Check out our Festival of the Lost 2020 page for a quick look at what to expect during this year's events. Let's take a look real quick. You got the trailer and everything. Got all that. The forest, of course. You got the wrapped rewards. You have the masks, of course. That cool new emblem.
I love it so much. It's so good.
It's actually really cool. I love
God.
that. And then, of course, the armor that everybody is wanting. The wolf.
The wolf! Yay!
And then, of course, the vampire.
Mm-hmm. And Frankenstein.
Yeah. Of course, play for free. Guide and everything. Media, stuff like that. I might get a wallpaper or two. Anyway. Eva Levante, or as you all affectionately call her, Space Grandma, has returned to the tower to lead Guardians in a celebration of those we've lost. We miss you, Kate. Aw.
Aww.
Aw. I didn't know it was going to be so sad.
Oh, come on, what you gotta hit us with that?
Oh, man. The Haunted Forest is back and filled with ghoulish enemies. This year we've added 5 chests to the end of the activity for 5 times the loot. That's actually really good.
Like that.
Because before it was just 1 chest, and you received a whole bunch of candy, maybe like a mask or 2. But now you have 5 chances to get some really cool masks, and then maybe a horror story or a werewolf. Of course, we got Space Grandma here. Gotta love her. To open the chest, you're going to need some cipher decoders. Talk to the spider to get started, and then they will drop from playing any of your favorite activities across the solar system. Similar to Umbrellagrams. So basically, you can do Crucible, you can do Strikes, you can do Gambit, you can do probably raids or public events or whatever, and you'll get cipher decoders, take those into the forest, and then get your loot. You've probably been hearing this a lot lately, but it goes double for Festival of the Lost. Don't forget to put on your mask, please. There are new masks available this year, as well as some favorites from the past. Eva has a Masquerader helmet, which you can apply your mask to as ornaments before you head out in the world to start stockpiling candy. The mask mods for the Haunted Forest also returned from last year's event. So, You enjoyed that?
Yeah, really quickly, I would like to point out that I really like the fact that it is an ornament that you can then apply to something
Yes.
instead of having to wander around with like a 0 power helmet.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's a nice touch.
I agree. So, before we wrap up the event on November 3rd, also, that goes to show that this is a month-long event, so it's starting on the 6th and ending on the 3rd, which is really nice. We'll explain. Well, I'll explain why afterwards. But you're going to want to complete 3 of the triumphs for opening chests in the Haunted Forest. Once you finish off the required triumphs, you will be able to trade in some of your candy for a mummified exotic sparrow, ship, and ghost. Here's the sparrow. Looks very nice. I want it. Same thing for the ship. I want that. And the ghost. Looks pretty nice, actually.
Yeah, I was expecting a little bit more coverage, but no, this is actually a nice touch.
Yeah, I like it. It's also a dark shader as well. That's nice. Finishing the Wrapped and Ready triumph. Required to get the exotic ghost also unlocks the ability to purchase the the Restless Shell ghost pin through Bungie rewards. So that's what it looks like right there. Speaking of Bungie rewards, we also have a terrifying new emblem available for free if you finish the initial quest during Festival of the Lost. Here's the emblem. Very sick, very cool. We both want it. Because you got the pyramids in the back, and you have like a skull with a pyramid. This is literally the best emblem.
It's like a taken blight like thing. I don't even know what that is.
Don't know what it is, but it's so sick, and I love that. May not buy the pin, but I want the emblem.
Yeah,
for sure.
Gotta get the emblem.
100%. That's the gist of it. But here are a few quick notes that may answer some questions you have. Minimum power to enter the Haunted Forest is 750. You can hold up to 25 cipher decoders before you need to go open some chests in the Haunted Forest. There will be both earnable mask and mask available for silver and bright dust. Any triumphs involving masks do not require masks from Eververse, which is good because a few TWABs ago they started talking about how they're trying to move a lot of things outside of Eververse, like specifically like ornaments for like certain weapons where you would think like this probably should come from Gambit. It's gonna come from Gambit, and so on and so forth. Which is really nice, and I'm glad they're enforcing this early. Actually, they started with the Prophecy Dungeon, how the Dido armor wasn't an ornament, it was an actual armor set you got from the dungeon itself. Bounties will return from last year and will once again offer Bright Dust. This line right here shows that, unlike the Guardian Games event, which there's a reason why I'm bringing that up, we'll talk about it. But unlike the Guardian Games event, the bounties for this event aren't required to make progress. Although I'm pretty sure you can get candy from, completing the bounties and, you get your Bright Dust and all that. Like, it's not a requirement. You can go and do these things without doing the bounties. And then they go on to say all new Eververse items will be available for both silver and Bright Dust, except for the 1-inch punch finisher, which will be available for silver only. It makes sense because pretty much the cooler finishers do cost silver. I mean, they are cosmetic, so it's expected. They don't really add anything to your Guardian. The toothbrush is still just a toothbrush.
Sad face.
Fortunately, I know a lot of you wanted to, hey, Dawnfather. Thank you very much, man, for coming through. You were here earlier. Appreciate you, dog. But yeah, the toothbrush is still just a toothbrush. For those that don't know, it's this whole thing that happens every year where like Erismorn gives us something random and crazy, and it still does nothing.
Yeah, it's like first it was the raisins, and then it was the celery, and now it's like a toothbrush. And I was really hoping for like an ascendant tooth or something.
Now that would be hilarious. That's probably gonna be like later on, maybe.
Oh please.
That would be sick.
Please.
Right. All right. Then they talking about how 2020 has been pretty bad, stuff like that. Then they go over the Bungie Foundation thing. If you buy the empathetic ghost shell pin from October 1st until the 15th, all the profits will go to direct relief's wildfire relief efforts. So if you want to do that, go ahead. 2020 needs some goodness in it. If you purchase an empathetic ghost shell pin, you will also instantly receive a code for the benevolent hue emblem as a thank you for your support. That's what it looks like. Go get yourself one. Thank you for all that continue. Thank you all for continuing to step up to every challenge that this year is sent our way, and for truly being the most generous and caring gaming community there is. Double Ordeal. Here's some really good info, and we'll actually get into this a little bit. Festival of the Lost is not the only reason to log in next week. Double rewards and Nightfall, the Ordeal is back. Grab a few friends or meet some new ones in the match-made difficulties. It's a great time to stock up on enhancement prisms and ascendant shards for your masterworking needs, as well as to grab any missing exotics or upgrade to a better stat roll. The strike will be a garden world, so watch out for those killer robots. The garden world is pretty simple, so definitely get out there and do your thing. Before we go on, real quick, we noticed with the last 3 weeks that Bungie is doing this whole double XP, double rewards, double infamy for gambits. You got double valor.
Giving us more bang for our buck.
Yeah, it feels nice. Like a lot of people were saying, like when we had it for Lake of Shadows, that it was the most more reward for our time than we've ever had in Destiny.
It was lovely.
It was very nice.
Even as someone who doesn't really like to do strikes in general, I still ground out all of the stuff I needed for that. It was so tantalizing an offer. I just couldn't pass it up.
None of us could, really.
Yeah.
Even I partook. But yeah, so it seems like they're gonna do this whole 3-week cycle, leading up to November 3rd, or even possibly ending with the November 3rd week, where it's double ordeal rewards, triple infamy, and then valor. And then it'll probably do double ordeal rewards again, and so on and so forth. So that's really good. I'm glad they're doing this. And with the ghost upgrades that they plan on doing, they're gonna have ghost mods where you'll be able to get enhancement prisms for doing strike stuff, and they might be even doing that for Crucible or Gambit. So they're moving in a really good direction here.
That's so huge for so many things, because having a ghost that is really nicely spec'd for a specific thing that you do a lot of is such a helping hand that a lot of people kind of take it for granted that their ghosts do things, but really try to work for getting the right shell stuff can help out a lot. And having those increased rewards is something that is game changing.
I agree, especially since people specifically like Neil, who mainly do PvP. You can with this new ghost update, you can spec out your ghost purely for PvP. You can have glimmer stuff for Crucible. You can have greater upgrade gain or whatever, or however they worded it, where you'll get enhancement prisms from just playing Crucible, doing certain game modes in Crucible. That's incredible, honestly.
Yeah, the enhanced rewards for activities, more materials from planets that you visit, or double tokens for Vanguard strikes, that kind of stuff. But having that for actual upgrade materials would, I don't know, it almost would lessen the fact that some of those things are so expensive. It would help out the longevity and the use of exotic armors and masterworking that stuff.
100%, because the best part is unfortunately you will have to masterwork your ghost in order to have that activity slot where you can get those like enhancement prisms or whatever. But like the good part is that they talked about on Reddit and everything from Cosmo is the fact that upgrading the ghost is like upgrading like masterworking a weapon. So it just takes enhancement cores or enhancement shards, whatever. So it's you can walk into Beyond like literally with an upgraded ghost right on day one.
Yeah, my experience is that people usually, without even knowing it, have accrued enough materials to masterwork at least one thing.
At least.
And if you make it your ghost, that is then feeding you more upgrade materials, well, I mean, that just kind of solves the problem itself.
It does.
So, yeah. Really nice stuff there.
I agree. So, yeah, we decided to get a little sidetracked there, but it was technically a part of the thing,
Yeah.
and it is important to talk about as well. Make connections and everything. Yeah, sorry, but it's haunted. Festival of the Lost, they reiterate all the stuff that they talked about on a more concise and condensed thing. Like I said, starts October 6th, ends weekly reset on November 3rd. You can look at the guide and stuff like that, information and all that fun and excitement. There's the possible issues we're going to be encountering. Known issues, using a feminine character, you might see gaps or hunter cloaks around the neck, I guess, or chest pieces. I don't know. Artifact is sometimes enabled in Iron Banner. We've been saying that a lot.
Yeah. Counted that this morning, actually.
Even though it does not like make things harder to kill, it's still like really weird to see. Hopefully they fix that soon because it's just a really weird thing to have.
It's a bit alarming, to be honest. Like,
Yeah,
it doesn't
true.
affect the actual gameplay, but when you see that pop up, you're like, oh no.
Yeah, it's pretty terrifying to say the least. And then they have the movie of the week, stuff like that. Okay, I love this time of the year. Anytime it's socially acceptable to put on a costume and eat sweets until you get a stomachache is a good time. It's extra fun if you have kids, pets to dress up. Can't wait to also start dressing up my hunter next week as well. I'm going to make him look so hideous that it gives DMG a stomachache. Love that. Love some banter between the community managers. Love Cosmo. All right. So overall, pretty nice TWAB. It was mainly going to be about Festival of the Lost anyway, since that is happening this week coming. It's very nice. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying Iron Banner. It's always crazy. So hopefully you guys are enjoying that. Next week should be cool. With Festival of the Lost being a full month, it makes things a little interesting because and here's the reason why we brought up Guardian Games. It's because Guardian Games was a whole, but it was executed very poorly, and they know that. The whole thing revolved around bounties and all that. It was just not a fun time. Me and neagle9 didn't even participate. Inside the event itself, and it just wasn't a fun time.
Yeah, I only played like the first week of that, and that was it. Like, I was so, for lack of a better word, disgusted with how it was being played out that I didn't want to do anything with it. Like, not even the tantalizing prize of an exotic that gives you an overshield was enough to make me play the Guardian games.
Very true.
So yeah, it was only really the Devote that actually decided to do that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And and that's the reason why we bring it up is because even though there are bounties going to be in this event for a month-long event, it's not the main focus, because the main focus of Guardian Games was, doing these bounties, getting all this stuff so you can get the exotic and make your class win. A lot of people didn't care about that. But with this one, it'll matter because, well, like the bounties don't matter because, they're mainly for Bright Dust and maybe for collecting some more candy. But like, you'll get a lot of candy during the Infinite Forest, the Haunted Forest anyway, so like it's not required. If anything, you'll be doing them to get the Bright Dust, purely to get be able to get your like masks and everything, be able to get the
I cannot
things
wait
here.
for the chicken mask. I crave the chicken mask every single year it
Yes.
comes around. It's so good.
And the best part is this time it'll be an actual ornament.
Yeah, I know.
That's the best part.
But I still remember like high level Crucible stuff.
The chicken
The chicken man. The chicken man. He just like rolled up with the chicken mask on and just started slaying. The dude had like green weaponry on, even though he had the unbroken title on him. It was insane. I loved it so much.
It was insane.
It was like such a highlight for me.
And he stomped us.
Yeah, and then he was on our team the other time. Oh man,
it was real cool.
But yeah, actually, come to think of it, what's your favorite mask out of all of the masks in Destiny's history? I know mine, hands down.
I would have to say mine would be actually, that's a good question.
Because that includes D1 as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
that includes D1.
Mm-hmm. Mine is from D1.
Oh, what's
Yeah.
yours?
The Chattering Flaming Skull mask.
Ah.
Yeah. The one that's like, okay, you either have to purchase it or you have to work really hard for it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it came in 2 different colors, I believe. There's the blue and then, what was it? I think just red. Like, red, standard flame red.
Okay.
Yeah, but the green one I purchased because it was too good. I couldn't pass it up. I was just like, mine.
Okay.
So yeah, I that one was just so good because it actually moved.
Ah.
If I had to go with the static one, I love the chicken mask and I crave it every single time. That's a D2 mask. For D1, I'd probably have to go with the Crota one. Big giant
the
like,
Crota
crown.
one was cool.
It was so huge.
Crota one was cool.
Yeah. It's a pair well with a lot of different like.
That's true. I believe then in that case, mine would probably be a really ridiculous one. Probably either the Flaming Wolf one, which was really cool, or the Oryx mask, because it was just like out there. It was crazy.
Oh.
Yes. So yeah, like maybe if they do bring back like Crota or like Taken King, well, King's Fall,
Actually,
then they could do that for the next Festival of the Lost.
theoretically, they actually do have the models for those heads already in the game.
That is true.
For Destiny 2 because of the shadows and the aspects, from the what's it called? The thing that you do for the Drifter game.
Reckoning.
Reckon. Thank you. I'm a reckoner. I have the title. Why don't I remember this?
Right. Also, they already have the model for Crota
Yeah, exactly.
because he's the Nightmare Hunt.
Yeah. Ooh, do you think we actually can get a Gaul mask?
I thought we already had one.
Oh. I know.
Right. But from Destiny 2, my favorite one probably would have to be the Shaxx one.
Good choice.
Oh, yeah.
Walk up to Shaxx as Shaxx. Dad.
Get away from me, Guardian. I'm not
No, he
your
wouldn't
dad.
even say anything. He would just kill you.
Right, like, flaming hammer.
He'd chuck a hammer at you or throw it
Right.
at you or both.
Exactly. Oh, my God.
Anyways,
all right. So, with that out of the way, now we get into the second part of our little stream today. We're going to talk about a little bit about the lore and other things revolving around that. So we're going to pull up Neil's game here.
My game. Oh, no.
And
good luck navigating. Because I changed all of the keys on the keyboard. I don't use keyboard and mouse, remember? I use controller.
Well,
So I changed all of the keys for how things... Wasted still works. But everything else is weird.
Well, the good part is I'm just going to be pulling up the lore.
Cool.
So I don't have to do a thing.
Well, you still have to pull up your inventory button. Silence is deafening.
Oh my god. No, but
No, there isn't. I turned off sound, remember?
That's right. Okay, that's fine.
Welcome to someone else's setup.
Yeah,
At least I
this
don't
is
play
weird.
inverted.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah. W would be back.
Oh God. Imagine someone playing like that. Just I can't even fathom that. That's so weird.
I mean, it could be a thing. I'm just saying.
That is true. It could very well be a thing. So to get started, I wanted to, since this TWAB was like very light. I mean, we're only 25 minutes in. Since this TWAB was very light, I thought we would go over some lore and maybe a little bit of theory crafting, cause we do have some ideas and like topics for Beyond Light. Now that we've seen a lot more, and then of course the Europa trailer, which is the most recent one. And it was very interesting seeing barracks and all that fun and excitement. Hey, it's still I.
I was just trying to psych you out.
That's it. You had me going there.
I did. I didn't change all that much.
Right.
I will say sprint is weird though.
I believe.
I don't even remember what it is.
Right.
All right. So, where do we start from this? Let's.
That's with protected.
Yes.
Oh, that's right, because it goes like this.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, it goes zigzag.
Yeah. Okay. So, we're going to read everything for the interference mission leading up to, of course, the final one, since we don't have the final one yet.
The secret.
For now. But we're gonna be reading this. It's gonna be real good. Yeah. So we're gonna read it and everything, and then we're gonna talk about it. The theory craft for Beyond Light, and it's gonna be good.
Yeah, I have at least read portions of this. I have not read the entire thing. Protected, not. And yeah, I know the ending of all this, but I'm interested to see how it began. Yeah, you can start off.
Okay. Port by VanNet encrypted router. Also, do have a third person here. If he would like to participate.
Hello? Yeah, you alive?
He would like to participate. Reading.
Would you like to read? No, okay, you're good.
You good?
All right.
Okay. For sure.
Yeah, they walked in like not too long ago. That's why you probably heard the door.
Yeah. Okay. Report by VanNet encrypted router. Reference obvious. The enemy insinuates that we are hobbled by the traveler's protection.
Nope.
Denied our full potential. This is expected. Our foe comprehends only violence and its beauty. Personal notes scratched in hive leather with a flake of Ionian stone. Ionian.
Ionian.
It is?
Ionian.
Okay.
Yeah. It's from Io.
That makes sense. The tired's insinuation that protection is weakness. I expected more from our great foe. When we hunted the first trespasser on the moon, I discovered the journal of a Golden Age commander. Xuan had faith and training. Still, the darkness seduced her. And this is the insidious power that turned her against her god? I am learning to cook. I salvaged a hot plate back on the moon. It was vacuum welded to the countertop, and I had to cut it free. My hands ache. They are steadier. Cousin Asher, you would find the concept of vacuum welding upsetting. Press two sheets of metal together in void, and their atoms cannot tell which sheet they belong to. They cross freely. The two become one. Slept beside an intruding pyramid. I'm deep in its shadow, back in the tower beneath the traveler. Could they understand how I am vacuum welded to the enemy? Interesting. I want to say.
Yeah, we'll finish this and then I'll.
This is so interesting. Ikora would understand. He studied the Taken with me. Despite the risks, and Zavala values foresight, but he also fears the next Lysander, the next Toland, the next Razel Azir. He fears that I could teach his guardians. He is wary of being the one to say no when all his guardians shout yes, yes. But it is his final duty. Or it is his duty, and he loves when duty hurts. Forceful angled cuts. I am afraid I I am afraid that if I go on, I will lose everything I have regained, all my peace, all my trust, all my hopes, and I will even destroy my dear friend who fights where I cannot. A blank space. I need to work. I need to make a walk. I am going to make an angle grinder to the rotor disc from an old rover. I must find cooking oil to season it. I will search through cousin's old caches tomorrow. Tonight, I cook fried rice. Rice and raisins will come from my store. My stores. The receipt calls for recipe. Sorry, I don't know why reading that was weird for me. The recipe calls for pineapple. Is this a joke? A pine flavored apple? I will substitute breadfruit if I can find it. Who wrote this?
This is Eris.
Is that actually Eris Warren?
This is Eris. I'm fairly certain this is Eris.
Is Eris Warren an Awoken? She is. That's right.
Yeah.
That's why cousin.
Yeah, she used to be.
I forget that all the Awokens. I forget that all the Awokens are cousins.
Yeah, they are.
Because back when my character, and it was crazy because like I didn't know how it affected your character, but back when my character entered the Dreaming City and met Petrovenge, she called me cousin.
No, it wasn't like that for me.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay, so back to it though. I'm gonna want to pull up certain things. Here's a weird thing. Here's a little note I want to put in here, and just to kind of weird this out a little bit. Why are there brackets all over the place? Some of them I can understand, but a lot of them are kind of weird. Like that one. Forceful angled cuts. And a blank space. Why is that there?
That's a good question. I'm very curious about it.
Yeah, because normally if she was like putting an aside, which she did earlier, she put it in quotation mark. Or, actually just regular, spaces and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that. Like, my hand aches. Like, it's an aside. But with brackets, that's something else. That's someone else, potentially.
I wonder.
And I would like to point out that another thing, the fact that she's making some kind of analogy between the vacuum welded appliance and herself is also another thing.
Yeah.
That maybe she's figuring out that, oh, maybe I am part of the darkness.
Interesting.
Oh, and one last thing. The pineapple. You can actually find our ghost talking about pineapples in, I believe, the arcology, in like part like it. It's like, oh yeah, he's just talking about various fruits and the breadfruit, and he's like, what was another one? Hair orange or something like that. Like a whole bunch of like weird combinations for fruit that we would consider strange. And then he goes across pineapple. Ew. Why would you combine pine trees and apples? It just seems gross. But yeah, breadfruit is an actual thing. You can actually buy that at the store. It's pretty delicious. But very tough to actually do it, because the whole thing, when all said and done, is like the size of either of our torches.
Oh, wow.
It's big. It's a big thing. So it's a little bit unwieldy, but very delicious.
Okay.
Anyways, yeah, so interesting.
Very interesting. It's starting off strong. I'm so curious. Also, we will be reading about that's not it.
No.
You know which one I'm trying to go for.
Yeah.
This one.
Yeah, there we go.
We will be reading this as well.
Joyous and Egress.
Yeah. This might be for another time, depending on how long this takes, but we will be reading this.
Yeah.
Because that one's very interesting.
I would love to hear your opinions on that one.
Yeah, because I haven't read that one either. Oh, I know. Alright. I believe Eggshell is next?
Yes, Eggshell is next.
Go for it, my brother.
Alright. Report by VanNet encrypted router. The bird cannot fly until it leaves the eggshell. The enemy continues to suggest that we must abandon the traveler. This is a good sign. It would not need to entice us if it could destroy us without effort. Personal notes scored in hive leather with a knife. Tribal volcanism and Jupiter's tidal volcanism and Jupiter's plasma breath made Io into a treasure trove of chemistry for the traveler's work. A good walk must be seasoned in the same way. I am heating it with sunflower oil from Cousin Asher's cache. There was many fine things, all untouched. Nice himself. I ache from the hike. Ikora says I am full of hairline fractures and deep muscle trauma. I never noticed until other pains had healed. The illusions of recovery. One pain obscures another. There is danger in this traffic with the pyramid. Hanghuans?
I think it's Kuangshan's.
Huangshan's. Sure.
Forgive us.
I'm ignorant.
I just can't speak.
I both.
Yeah.
Logs make that plain. I must continue. I must continue. What worth have I ever been except that I know the enemy? More worth, Mara would remind me. I am more than my use.
Okay.
So, what bird would we become if we left the traveler behind? There are 4 obvious examples. We might survive as raiders on the edge. We might take the enemy's sacrament and become its slave. We might abandon our humanity for machines. We might rise up in war and build an empire. You know exactly what that's talking about.
Yeah.
Yet none of these 4 can be the answer. Fallen, Vex, Cabal, and Hive all covet the Traveler. They have not left it behind. Mm-hmm. If all things beyond the Traveler's protection fall under the... Ooh, I don't know this word. Ooh! Suzerainty. Or suzerainty? Suzerainty.
Suzerainty.
Suzerainty. Sure, let's roll with that. Suzerainty of darkness. Not because they serve it, but because they are obedient to its law. Then to leave the traveler would be to join the enemy. There would be no other way. Even so, I am proof otherwise. I move between. There is not only gray between black and white. All the colors are there. And am I not necessary? I would be lost without those who led me back to the light. If I had not been there to guide them down into darkness, they would all be dead. Who would be become if we were all like Eris Morn? Ah, walk is on fire.
Oh my god.
Okay, so yeah, they already said it in the thing. They were specifically. She was specifically talking about the Fallen, Vex, Cabal, Hive. Like all of them are forsaking the Traveler, but still they covet it.
Right.
They haven't abandoned it.
Right. Because I mean, the Fallen's main thing is they want to get back their great machine.
Yeah, they're trying to get back what they lost. They were once chosen like we were. They were humanity, essentially.
Exactly.
And the Traveler abandoned them. Why? I don't know. So I don't think anyone knows at this point.
Right.
Yeah, it's just like suppositions here. It's like, what if? What could become? What is it trying to entice us with?
Exactly. It's very interesting.
I learned a new word. I'm happy about that.
Yes.
I don't often get to learn new words.
You want to look it up, see what it means?
I don't have my phone on me. That's
right.
Click the next thing.
Yeah, click the next thing.
Here we go.
How do you spell it again? Hold on, let me see.
Oh yeah, down there. There it is.
There it is.
Suzerainti.
Is a relationship in which one state or other polity controls.
Polity.
Polity controls the foreign policy and relations of a tributary state, while allowing the tributary state to have internal and autonomy. Suzerainty differs from sovereignty in that the tributary state is technically independent but enjoys only limited self-rule.
United States.
Okay.
It's like we are all part of the United States, but each like state has its own like ruling. Uh, like that's an oversimplified and probably incorrect thing, but it's like adjacent to that, I think.
Okay.
A little bit. Anyways, yeah, that was I so rarely encounter new words.
Got you going there for a second, huh?
I'm excited.
Yes.
That's the thing about Destiny. It teaches me new things.
Love that.
Alright, your turn.
Okay. Report by VanNet's encrypted router. Interesting. The other one was not.
Yeah, all they are.
Oh, they all are?
They've all been.
Okay.
Yeah.
The color white exists as a symbol of
Uniformity.
Sterility. And sameness? Oh my gosh. I'm struggling. Sameness.
You're good.
In light, there is only death. The same message VIP number 2014 received in the Lunar Pyramid.
That's us! Why not?
Again, uninteresting. Personal notes scored. Oh my gosh. Personal notes scored in hive leather with a knife. I do not believe the darkness has returned to destroy the traveler. Like I said.
Just got ice packs for the both of us because
Ooh!
we are burning.
He was right. I do not believe the darkness has returned to destroy the traveler. Surely it could have done that while the traveler was maimed and stranded. That's true. Why wait for a sign that the light had returned to its strength? That's a good question. Oh, this is a good lore book. Perhaps the darkness has returned for us. Guardians are the traveler's final memorial. We are its selfless legacy and last argument. The color white, stasis, blankness, bone. Flag of truce. This is an opportunity. We must do as we did before, encounter the enemy's power, learn what we can, and report back. And if we return with nothing but beautiful and violent words, then we will study them as scripture and find some way to turn the enemy's power to our use, just as it wishes to turn us to its purpose. My walk is filthy with burnt oil. I need baking soda to clean it, but there is no Trona on Io. Instead, I bubbled carbon dioxide through sodium hydroxide, burnt like hive blood, and retrieved enough soda to clean the walk. Oh wow, she's doing pretty well. While I was scrubbing, a young guardian approached me. He had an ancient name. Akkadian, perhaps, or Sumerian. She said that she had heard of me. She wanted to help me search for knowledge. I snapped at her to bring me a pineapple. I know I was cruel. If I had my webcam chat, the look on this man's face.
My head is in my hands.
The look on this man's face.
Okay. First of all, I love the analogy of her cooking on a walk for this entire process.
Oh, it's great.
It's an amazing analogy. I love it. Particularly about trying to create some baking soda to clean it. She had to break it. She had to go from the atomic level in order to get that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's impressive and also kind of funny a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah. The point that you were trying to make, that why didn't the darkness finish on the Traveler when it had the perfect opportunity?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's almost like it was trying to entice a certain thing to happen.
Exactly. It's almost as if like the darkness is just like, hey, I know you guys are with the Traveler, but darkness has cookies.
You have cookies.
Right. Go on the dark side, we have
Go on
cookies.
the dark side.
Yes.
But yeah, I think it wanted the Traveler to create, because remember, it is entropy. It cannot make things. Not
right.
really. So it was trying to make the Traveler create agents to receive power. That's my theory of it.
Right.
Because guardians are a force to wield things. They're
True.
capable of wielding many a different thing,
Right,
not
right.
just the light. I mean, there was instances where radiation levels were spiking all over us, and we were just walking around with that, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
And instances where we've like consumed weird things, Drifter, and then being able to use the darkness itself. Yeah, that's kind of a rare feat for any agent to be able to do.
That's true. Also, one thing to note is this is the lore page before we get Ruinous Effigy.
Oh, it is.
I believe so.
Okay.
So, because I believe Ruinous Effigy was like the 5th week.
All right. All right.
So then this makes sense because the darkness is just like, wait, you guys can wield stuff. Can you wield the darkness? And I think that's when they're gonna start testing us. And speaking of, we're at the cusp.
Port by VanNet encrypted router. This is a threat. The enemy implies we are on the edge of a second collapse. There are intimations of a repeated mistake. An error will we make again. Perhaps it is a demand for surrender. Personal notes, scratched in hive leather with a flake of Ionian stone. The collapse was a murder, a genocide. Why does the enemy imply it was our error? I was born long before the Golden Age, but I do feel loyalty to that time, and compassion. Humanity thought it was immortal. So did I. What should we have learned from the collapse? That we are weak? Obvious. No. That we made errors in our defense. Our enemy is not a strategy.
Doctor.
Thank you. That everything grown must die, hope is futile, etc. Tiresome. Death may be inevitable, but life is worth fighting for to protect and extend. That the traveler is using us for its own end, then why would it sacrifice itself? No. That the darkness is not our enemy, it is only the traveler's enemy. Does the enemy suggest that we should have turned on the traveler during the collapse? Cracked it like an egg. I see shades of the prisoner's dilemma that occupied Huangshan. If traveler and humanity cooperate, both suffer. If humanity maims the traveler as it tries to flee, both are destroyed. But if the traveler chooses to help us, and we turn against it, offer it to the enemy. The enemy suggests that this would have been our salvation. For now, I will subsist on thick mikan and vitamin paste. I crave fresh food. I must invite someone to share this meal I will someday cook. My palate is toughened. I will need a taster. Perhaps I should not have sent this Sumerian woman away.
I love how we get like Eris's personality towards the end.
It's a
there.
side quest.
I love this so
it's a
much.
side story in a side story. I love it so
It's
much.
actually so good. I love this so much.
I really want to know the Sumerian lady's name. Sumerian, by the way, is very old.
Oh.
Like, Gilgamesh old.
Oh wow.
That like era of old.
Wow.
This is like thousands of years before thousands of years.
Okay. This is the personal notes scored in hive leather with a knife.
Pause. No encryption.
No encryption. Something new as because this is real time. So Eris was writing this like after I think before we went to go pick it up.
Yeah, there's no VanNet encrypted here.
Yeah. Something new has blossomed in the cradle. A gift to reward my attention. It terrifies me. And the more afraid I am, the more I want to accept it. Came to learn from what I fear most. The more I am afraid, the more there is to learn. The shoot is a single silver branch with leaves like down. I think they are tiny feathers. Is it some thorn of Savathun's sent to bring disaster? No, I know it's not. That would be too simple. It is from the Black Pyramid. It was meant for me. I will let it grow and see if it bears fruit. It is true that I am watched by many guardians and doubted and mocked. But this is the price of connectedness. This is proof, no matter how bitter, that I am part of something larger. Others look to me for guidance, so I choose to be worthy of that trust. I choose to tell Zavala what I found. I will even invite him to see it. So this is before he came there.
Yeah, this because Zavala like spawned in and killed a couple people in the process.
Right. Oh yeah.
Side note. Yeah, apparently he like T-pose and just kill people.
Boom.
I am here. Anyways, yeah, so this was real time. As we were going through like, you know, clearing out everything, she was like writing this down furiously.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting.
Yeah, because we actually saw like the branch grow, right?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We saw the branch.
Yeah.
We picked it up and then brought it to Banshee. But very interesting. Back to Van Net.
Okay. Report by Van Net encrypted router. Another rhetorical gambit. The enemy presents itself as part of a natural cycle. Like a stalking wolf, it simply obeys its nature. How can we hate it? Personal notes. Scored in hive leather with a knife. There are jaded guardians, strangers to true loss, who claim that the traveler has ulterior motives. The darkness is a natural form. They worship gray. For them, the line between right and wrong is fine as silk, as easy to cut. Fools. Evil is real, even in a world of gray. It must be named and fought, because left unchecked, it takes everything. Those who excuse and deny evil's existence are its greatest allies. Those who mistake its causes for moral justification are its favorite pawns. If the pyramid challenges me, would not the light destroy the darkness, just as darkness would destroy the light? Why do we call a change evil when it's natural and inevitable, like Earth's winters, sun's spots? Because some changes must be resisted. If we do not prepare for winter, we would die in it. We would cease to exist. So now I find myself using the enemy's philosophy to justify my opposition to the enemy. Neat little trap. Is winter evil? It causes evil. It leads us into evil choices through scarcity and pain. But winter is the result of natural circumstance. Even if it had a mind, it would never choose to become an endless summer. It would always hurt us simply by being itself. Does that make it evil? And if we were to build shelters and weapons out of ice, would we become evil? Survival in winter requires wintercraft. Survival in darkness requires a new idea of good and evil, one that will not collapse into moral indifference, where we will all be dredgens in the end.
Now that's an interesting part at the end, because that shows that you're starting to get the idea of, okay, maybe the darkness kind of has a point. Like that, is it actually wrong to use the darkness? Like, would using the darkness make us evil?
Yeah, so I believe other people have made this point, but does wielding the light automatically make you good?
That's a good question, because
I'm thinking specifically of the warlords. They are all light bearers, and they all did heinous war crimes. Or at least a lot of them did. Not all of them, but a fair amount of them were pretty nefarious and didn't exactly have the people a lot of the time.
Right.
So, just because you're wielding the light doesn't make you good. And thus, by, going on an extrapolation here. I do not believe wielding the darkness intrinsically makes us.
I don't
It
think
is
so
simply
either.
another power.
Right, exactly. Because I mean, like, we actually have used weapons even back in Destiny 1 where they came from evil things. Like, for example,
Touch of Malice.
Touch of Malice, Necrochasm, and then Thorn, exactly. And then there was Whisper of the Worm that we got from Destiny 2.
Yeah, we're literally holding a dead worm god in our hands.
And then also Outbreak Prime / Outbreak Perfected. It's a Siva gun. Siva was used by Rasputin, although we know the reason why. But Siva was used by Rasputin to kill the Iron Lords. So we've used evil things, quote unquote evil things before, but it didn't make us evil. They're just weapons.
Yeah. Like the analogy here, does making weapons out of ice or building shelters out of ice make it evil?
Right.
No, it's like you're making igloo.
Exactly,
I mean, we throw
yeah.
snowballs at each other all the time. We don't think two things about it.
Exactly. It's just, of course, what Eris is trying to say here is like, everybody thinks of like, the light as good, and then darkness is like, evil and bad. But that's not necessarily it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
it's the whole concept that up is good, down is bad.
right.
Like that's like an intrinsic human thing that we, as a peoples,
right, yeah.
have like already like cemented in our
Exactly,
brains.
because like because like for religion, heaven is up and hell is down.
Yeah.
It's sort of the same thing.
Yeah, but then if you have to climb a mountain, you know that the closer you get to the peak, the higher it is going to breathe. So
Right.
is that not necessarily evil as well? And then you go down to the earth, and yeah, there's a lot of like caverns and stuff down there. Then also there's a lot of like excess heat and all of the
That's
other
true.
nastiness and stuff. So either way is not necessarily good or bad. It just is. So yeah, yeah, this is a very philosophical thing that she proposed here.
Yeah, Eris is getting deep.
Yeah.
This
Well,
is such a good.
She's already deep.
True. This is such a good lore book. I love this. Holy crap, I love this. Yes. Okay. Report by VanNet encrypted router. A lapse. Nothing meaningful emerged from our work this time except vague affirmation. Perhaps I have misinterpreted the results. Personal notes scored in hive leather with a knife. Yes. It approves of my interest. It encourages me. When darkness reaches for you, flinch away, but I do not. This approval excites me. Am I already in its power? Is this a declaration of its triumph? When I was a guardian, I went on a dive to gather salvage from an ancient submarine. We plunged so deep that the air itself became intoxicating. Hypnotized by our own beauty, we said into each other's helmets, drunk on our distance from the world. When we surfaced, agony. I feel that depth pressing on me now. Fingers in my ears ache. Enemy's excitement terrifies me. Cannot give. It cannot be made to give. The fallen call it the astonishing ability to evade being robbed. Okay. It can only take. What could this yes mean? Except that it has taken something from me. My course is set. I did not tell Zavala. I take this onto myself in the hope of helping others. All space. The Sumerian woman returned at last. She found an arcology garden on Titan. On the manifest pineapple. Pineapples are real. She is a power, this guardian, but there are many as bright or brighter. It is perseverance that makes the difference. You will see it. We will see this one preserves. I sent perseveres. I sent her to bring me pineapple seeds. Her name is Anina. Anina.
Sure.
Anina. She has white, innocent eyes. I will not give up my work. Not until I have fried rice with pineapples and raisins. And not until I know exactly what is coming. Before we get into that little side step,
my mind was absolutely blown for a second there at the beginning. Okay, as one who has gone scuba diving before, I know exactly what she's talking about. So, what do you know about pressure and what it does to human bodies?
It can crush them.
Yes. However, if it doesn't outright crush you, there's another dangerous thing that it can do. It compresses you. So, the deeper you go into a large body of water, like the ocean, or like a super deep lake, or a cave system,
Right.
the pressure will slowly increase, and there is a certain point where it becomes dangerous, and like things are gonna like start malfunctioning in your body. But before then, there is a weird layer that is just about the gases that are going through your bloodstream. So the nitrogen levels in your blood will start to go haywire. It actually is akin to being drunk. Like you will feel invincible. It will be amazing. It feels really good. You feel like you can punch a shark in its mouth and it will die instantly. That's the level of drunk you can get with that level of stuff.
Wow, okay.
And one of the things they told me is the fact that you need to ascend slowly in increments. Because if you go too fast, all of that oxygen, all the like bubbles and gases in your body will go nuts in your brain and other places. And that will cause the bends. And you will actually start to basically explode from the inside. And if you go too fast, you will need to become depressurized through a giant like machine. They actually have to shove you into it to make sure that you don't explode.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like it's a depressurization chamber. And it's only used in like emergency situations because it's dangerous. You have to repressurize the body to the level it was at. So then it can become regular surface level again.
Wow.
So the fact that she's using that example for the darkness is terrifying.
I agree.
Yeah, like it. Yeah, it's the whole theory of like whenever you try to go with deep sea fishing and you pull up the weird fish, they explode. They don't actually fragment violently and stuff, but you'll see like their tongues are bloated, their eyeballs are just bloodshot and like bulging out their heads, and they look distorted.
Okay.
So yeah, that applies to the human body just as much.
Interesting.
So yeah, it's terrifying. Like I said, I don't remember all the details perfectly, so I may have gotten a couple of things correct. But it's that like general yeah, you need to be careful. Yeah, you really need to be careful when you're like diving that deep into this.
Okay.
Darkness apparently has that kind of pressure.
Good to know. Terrifying.
And now back to the pineapple.
Back to the.
See, I told you, Titan.
I love it. I love that.
Pineapples are real.
Pineapples are real. Oh my god. God, I love that. I love that little bit at the end. All right, Unborn.
Okay. Report by VanNet Encrypted Router. It preaches the philosophy of the books of sorrow, your scripture.
Oh.
Or scriptures. And the unveiled fragments. The traveler is a false creator, guarding its creations with false law. We are dead things, made in the shape of the dead. The only true law is violent winnowing. Whatever cannot hold on to existence does not deserve existence, and so forth. At least it is consistent. Personal notes, scratching to high leather with a flake of Ionian. The enemy suggests that our rebirth was an evil mistake. How Gnostic. They were a cult, elite, school, board, who believed that the source of all suffering was not in our poor choices, but an error of the world's creator, a false, deluded god. Mara would laugh, or weep. Was my rebirth an evil? It is true that guardians are reborn to face pain. We are endlessly besieged by a torturing cosmos. Secretly, I believe that most of us fall to exhaustion. Our ghosts love us and let us curl up inside to rest. My ghost Bria died to save me. If she were returned, I want immortality again? I do fear immortality without choice. I would not want to go on as a prisoner in Vex Glass, or a spirit trapped in a sea of screams.
Oh.
But my life is not a prison or a trap. It is not.
Interesting. You made references to
A lot of things.
Kradith and Poland.
Mm-hmm. She also made a mention of the Shadows of War. And Dredgen Yor himself. Also, I don't know. This one,
This one's a little interesting.
It's short, but it's very interesting.
Oh yeah.
So I actually talked about to a whole bunch of my friends the concept of what's the term? Conditional immortality, where you are effectively immortal. However, you can still be killed when very specific conditions are met.
Okay.
Guardians, I believe, are conditionally immortal, where if their ghost is destroyed and then they're killed, then they are truly dead.
Right.
Or they are erased, or some similar situation. But if you just go up and walk up and then put a gun up there and just pull the trigger, they're not truly dead. Sure, their physical shell may collapse, but as Callus would put it, their oversoul, their outside external soul, is still alive in the form of their ghost, and then resurrect them. They're whole again. So yeah, it also made a mention to Gnosticism, which is a real life religion out there in the world.
Okay.
I'll have to talk in more detail before because it's a very complex topic, but essentially it says that there is a deity, like a god, that then created a pantheon of stuff, like, angels and stuff. And then, by accident, it also made another thing that it was referred to as the idiot god, that then created everything else. And it doesn't realize it was creating stuff.
Oh, so I think what she's trying to say here then is, like, the darkness is, like, the true.
Yeah.
And then the idiot god would be the traveler.
Kind of. Yeah.
Interesting.
It also put an analogy that Mara was that idiot god, a little bit. Yeah, that's why she's like, she may laugh.
Oh, because of the Awoken.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
By the way, that name of Gnosticism is called a demiurge.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The more you know. Yes. Okay. Purity. Report by VanNet encrypted router. The logo graph suggests purification through reduction, ablution, or sacrifice. It may draw an ironic comparison between the traveler and I was reading that wrong. Between the taken and our own relationship to the traveler. I am sure the idea that we are light taken, the popular heresy, but the difference should be plain. We do not lose the capacity to choose. We make our own fate. Personal note: scratched in hive leather, the flake of Ionian stone. The translation is not as clear as I suggested to Zavala, as I told my friend, purity is hardly pure of meaning. There are many interpretations. As a student of hive lore, purity makes me recall the final shape, that which remains when all that can be removed has been removed. But the hive are a skeletal cult of misery and reduction. The true enemy is rich with nuance. It challenges me. Why does the traveler strip us of our old identities? As a guardian, I never craved a past. Everything I cared for was in front of me. I could see my people, I could touch them, I could fight for them. But when I lost my ghost and the lights, trapped in the gunpowder tunnels of the disemboweled moon, I cursed the traveler. It left no childhood memories to comfort me, no parents or cherished friends waiting in the city, no one to whom I could devote my return, just Ariana, Sai, Omar, and Vel, haunting me. Of course, I have never considered this before. This is a more generous interpretation of the traveler's amnesia. The traveler believes that if we are freed of our past wounds and fears, given power and a new start, we will choose to be good. We will abandon all lesser causes to defend humanity. We will choose others over ourselves. Perhaps this is why the traveler never speaks. Its voice is too loud to be anything but coercion. It waits, breathless, for us to make our own choice. Small space. Rihanna's ghost, Aninia's ghost sent me a message. Found viable pineapple seeds in an archaeology vault.
Let's go!
She wants me to grow them.
Yes!
I love that at the end.
Yeah,
It's so good.
I love the aside. It's like all of this super serious, deep stuff, and then pineapples. Obsession with pineapple. So real.
So true, though.
Anyways, how do we want to unpack this one?
Ooh, that's a strong one there. Light taken. I don't think that we are though, because like the taken, they're following under whoever took them, but we're technically not following the lights.
But we are following our ghost.
Did our ghost tell us to kill Aldrin?
It did not in so many words, but it didn't stop us either. For okay. True enough that our ghosts have their own personalities and their own way of doing things, and a lot of the time our guardians don't even get along with them. Look at Ikora and her ghost.
True.
Or Drifter and his. But I would also like to point out that when the guardians are being resurrected, sometimes they actually do have connection.
That's
Anna
true.
Bray and Aldrin.
Ah. But does Aldrin remember?
He doesn't need to. Because everyone else is telling him.
Because everyone does.
He was resurrected the same time that everyone knew he was.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, is uncanny. The only other instance was for Legend of Six Coyotes. And that one lady, I can't remember her name. That was resurrected with her old journal in her hand. So yeah, there's a lot of times where the Guardians are resurrected with knowledge of their past. Which is something that none of the Taken have.
True.
So we are like, yet unlike the Taken at the same time. We have been given a shape. A new shape.
Mm-hmm.
But also we still have our own autonomy.
Very interesting to think about.
Alright. Conviction. Report by Van Net Encrypted Router. The enemy is convinced of the right of its cause. Uninteresting. Personal notes scratched in Hive Leveler with a flake of Ionian stone. I saw a strange ghost yesterday, lurking among my supplies. Normally, they do not come this close. Even when their guardians do.
Right.
They fear possession by the pyramid. This one had the air of a spy.
Oh?
Enemy warns me of a great atrocities couched in valor, violence born from a supreme conviction. This message is an extension of the camouflage lograph, a warning against my own comrades. Sometimes death comes not from a disease, but the body's immune reaction. Under pressure, oxygen becomes poison. Good things, Marissa, make us sick. Zavala is not a martinet. He is a strategist. His guardians are all tacticians. They love when some grand new threat appears. When it is defeated, they become restless.
That's actually true.
And they use their bold victories as proof that Zavala is a timid leader.
Ah.
But he is not swayed by the hot-blooded elite. He fears victory disease. What will happen when our mighty newborn guardians, accustomed to swift victory, meet a grinding, tedious foe? And he worries for the thousands and thousands of weaker light bearers who rush after their heroes and die forever. No more ghosts are being created. We are pouring from a shallow cup. He would do anything to protect the last city, such as his conviction. Would he kill me if he thought I was turned? I think I would wound him horribly. Or it would wound him horribly. But he doesn't love to be hurt by his duty. And Nia returned with pineapple seeds. Io does not support agriculture, so I made loam out of treated soil, asteroid powder, and bacterial paste that looks like bouillon. I will plant the pineapple seeds in this little garden. I hope their roots are not too big. I have only a little room to grow.
What?
It's so cute. She's a farmer now.
I love that. It's so good. I love this so much.
However, talking about the grind.
This
That's
lore
so
page,
meta.
This lore page is very meta to how Guardians feel currently
Yeah.
about the game. Well, before things started getting like really interesting with like the whole ordeal, double rewards, and all that.
Yeah, like since Shadowkeep, the player base has become restless because
Easy victories.
shallow victories, more
Shallow
like not even
victories.
easy. Like it's, oh, we've done this strike a million times, even though it's canon that we're actually defeating this dude
For the first time.
for the first time for the millionth time. It's like, okay, yay, what now?
Right.
Meanwhile, Zavala is all about, okay, we need to keep going. This is good. We're doing good work. I mean, everyone's always like, eh.
Everybody's just like, but can we just do something else? Can we do something new?
Yeah, they want more.
Yeah. Zavala's just like, no, you guys don't understand. You guys have to keep going. This is good. We're making progress. And then the Guardians, a lot of the Guardians are just like, but we can't see the progress.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up an example that I think we should all take inspiration from.
Okay.
Saint 14.
Ah, yes, Saint 14.
When he then decided to stay and said, and I quote, "What's a few more thousand years of killing Vex?"
Ah.
Or was it 100? I can't remember. But yeah, one of the two. A lot of numbers, years. Years. Canonical years of killing Vex. The same enemy.
Over and
over ad infinitum almost.
Mm.
And we get tired after a few weeks.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a kind of just a in canon lore tab for everyone there.
Yeah, like it's very. And Eris brings up an excellent point.
Hot blooded is right.
Yeah, very much so. But
I mean, I'm not denying that I am that.
yeah, like Eris makes a very strong point though. Like if we like maybe we should like not view Zavala as this timid leader, because like, you know, we're restless and everything. We want to do something new. We want to do something more. We want to do something different. But maybe we need to like see it from his perspective almost. But it's hard to, as the ones going out and doing this stuff, compared to like, you know, dude in the tower doing nothing.
Yeah, he's in it for the long term, like the long game.
Right.
We actually, do we even know how old Zavala is?
We have no idea.
Yeah, because we got the trailer for him like forever ago, where it was like, you know, the actual like he resurrected in the ship, and then went along all of his like life and stuff.
But he's also unawoken.
Like, he's also unawoken, so that means he's lived 3 lives at minimum,
At least.
So he is far older than we could originally think. Not just the Guardian aspect, because that's also like 100 years already. Then there's his awoken life, which probably was in like the hundreds of thousands. And then, even before that, he was probably around during the Golden Age.
Yeah,
Doing, like, fun stuff.
probably.
Yeah. That was, like, like human lifespan was, like, tripled, I think it was.
Yeah,
so
I
he
believe
probably
so.
was, like, already in his 200s.
Exactly, yeah.
So he's extremely old. So he is of a mindset where he is going in for this super long haul. He's in it for the day, and not in it for quick victories.
Right, the instant gratification.
Yeah, like completing a raid.
I mean,
It's super hard and very fun to do. But afterwards, it's done. You've completed. You've toppled this mighty pillar of the enemy.
right.
Well, I'm gonna start using it to build a wall.
Yeah. Yeah, because, like, it's the same thing with Saint 14 when you brought him up. Because, like, he was in it for... He was hunting for Osiris. Like, and he was in it for the long haul. He literally was in the Infinite Forest for who knows how many times... Who knows how many lifetimes just to try and find Osiris. He died doing so.
Yeah.
So much so the Vex respected him and built him a grave.
Yeah, he built a monument for him.
Exactly.
Of the corpses he made.
Right, exactly. Like, it's interesting because I think from, if we're not talking about like the new lights or whatever, or like the Guardians that recently joined, and we're talking about the ones that started back in Destiny 1 when the True Awakening happened, we've had a lot of major victories. We've killed gods, we've slayed like many different things. We killed a worm god, we killed a lot of crazy things. So
some of them were technically immortal even.
Right.
Think of the Undying Mind.
Yeah, that and just straight up Oryx. We went into his throne world, and his final stand was literally his final stand.
Yeah.
So like we've had all these crazy victories, and then our most recent one, well, two recent ones. One, we slayed an Ahamkara, which is a big feat in itself. Because it took who knows how much just to be able to do that back then in the Great Hunt.
There.
Right. But we slayed an Ahamkara, so that's another huge victory. And then we went into the Black Garden again, by the way, and killed the Sanctified Mind.
Yeah,
although we were called there, but like still.
And then we go out into like a patrol, and then we complain.
Right. Because it's not something that grand scale.
Yeah, we're used to the glory. We're used to the thrill of toppling something so monumental.
Yeah.
And then when we're like going for like the, oh, it's the like 1,000,000th dreg today.
Exactly. Plus, like, it's the same thing with like people in the Crucible, right? If you go into the Crucible, you do a regular Crucible match. It's just a normal Crucible match. But then you got the Trials of Osiris. You go in there and you put all your blood, sweat, and tears and all the skill that you have against another person, hopefully of that same skill, and you fight tooth and nail to the very end just to get that reward at the end. And then you go back to normal Crucible, and it's just like, it's
hollow.
just fodder.
It's so hollow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you wait until the weekend, and well, essentially in canon, you wait until Saint 14 opens it up again.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's the same thing. Like for Zavala, he's looking at the bigger picture. It's like, okay, we toppled all these things. Now we're preparing for something even greater. Where with our Guardians, well, at least the ones from Destiny 1 that I carried over into Destiny 2, we're the kind of person that's just like, okay, great. We killed all these cool things and great things, but then I don't see the bigger
Forsaken.
picture.
Even Ikora was of this mind.
That's true.
She straight up called him a coward.
Yep. Cowardice.
Yeah. Because he knew that going after one person with all of our forces was not worth it. Despite how he felt. Despite everything that happened.
Exactly.
He knew it was not worth it from a strategic standpoint.
Yep.
So he could not endorse everyone going after this one.
Yep.
So yeah.
It's really interesting when you think about it. It's crazy because like that's how you can tell Ikora is a lot younger than Zavala.
Well, I mean, she was also pretty hot-blooded to begin with.
True.
She was like all over the
I
Crucible.
was about to say,
remember?
yeah, she was a beast in the Crucible.
Oh yeah, legendary.
Shotgun in hand, lightning, OP. But yeah, it's really that one, that lore page was really interesting to think about. That one hit hard.
Yeah.
That one hit home for sure. But it makes a lot of sense though. Things are starting to make sense. You might want to put this back in the freezer.
Yeah. Okay, I'll get the second one.
Yeah. Report by VanNet encrypted router. Rebuke to Savathun for her interference. Oh. Perhaps she is jealous of our direct access to the pyramid. She led the hive to the darkness, but she has had eons to regret that choice. Could we exploit this? Personal notes: scratched in hive leather, the flake of Ionian stone. I find the Guardians' collective study humiliating. Their channels are full of open speculation about me. Is she a helpless lackey of Queen Mara? Interesting that they mention Mara Sov. An ancient proto-hive matron? Interesting. And
I know that theory.
and why did she offer to trade a bag of quartz chip data stores for a pound of breadfruit?
A bag of quartz chips data stores for a pound of breadfruit.
I love it. I love it so much. Savathun, queen of all encrypts. Savathun, who has distorted these messages so badly that only the tenacious drifter can unscramble them. Ah, that's why they've been talking a lot. Makes sense. Why does the hive trickster want to prevent our contact with her god? Simplest answer: it is all a trick. You did exactly as I required, is her retort to any defeat. How can her plans be foiled when no one understands what they are? Would she dare defy the deep itself? Oh, this is for those that know their lore. This lore page is for those that really know their lore. Perhaps she would. Savathun's wretched existence is bound to the need to confuse. To understand her is to destroy her. But is she still set on luring us into a black hole? Some newborn universe where she can be a true god? Or was that a lie too? Am I on the verge of some discovery that threatens her? Jupiter is always straight above. At night, the whole sky is afire, tons of sulfur burning in the flux tubes that connects Io to the Jovian pole. I burn my trash and the smoke drifts up forever. The radio howls like wolves. I am lonely.
Oh?
Poor Iris.
Yeah, poor Eris. Forever alone.
Forever alone.
So those pineapples, though.
Those pineapples, though. But, wow. That was for people that know their lore.
Yeah, no, do you remember Proto Hive? So we're talking about Krill here.
Yeah, we're talking about Krill.
We're talking about the mother of the three.
Oh my gosh.
Because we don't have a confirmation of that particular individual's demise.
Nope. Interesting.
Which, I've heard that theory and I was like, oh, that's dumb.
That's funny. I love how they incorporated that. But wow. Because that's an interesting point with the it's all a trick and the whole you did exactly as I required. Because that was very plain to see that that's how she operates with whatever happened with the Dreaming City. For those that don't know and for those that are new, back in Forsaken, when the World First Team, Team Redeem, with Glad and all them, they beat the Last Wish and killed Riven with 1,000 voices, and they put the heart inside the thing so they could cleanse it or whatever, claim their weapon and everything. After they left, they unleashed a curse in the Dreaming City, which was the final wish.
The true last wish.
Right. So our wish, the Guardian's wish, canonically, was to defeat Riven. So we did.
But 6 paracausal beings with a very strong intention and desire to slay a dragon is something that is very tangible, very tantalizing for something like Kara. So it then used that energy to fuel another wish.
Right.
Because we all subconsciously wished to kill a dragon.
Yep.
And we made that wish come true.
Yep. And with that, it activated Savathun's wish, which was to corrupt the Dreaming City, essentially like infiltrating it, and thus creating the Shattered Throne and placing her daughter Dolankaru in there, and essentially creating an infinite time loop / power battery, which fuels her completely. And even like in the lore and in canon now, one Guardian soloed the Dreaming City at power level 999, and although succeeded, nothing happened.
Here's the thing, the way that we were directed, every single one of us was led into this trap. Make no mistake, this is a trap that she led. She led it through a book that we don't know if it's actually real or not.
The book we're referencing is Truth to Power.
Truth to Power is so weird. It plays out like a choose-your-own-adventure story, and we're not even sure if it's real or not.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's so much in it that we're like, did this actually happen? We don't know. Because it turns you, the reader, into an engine for all of this craziness.
Yep.
It's crazy. And then it directs us to, hey, when you get to this power, you should go solo into this dungeon, there's a boss, see what happens. Who knows? And we're like, that sounds good, sure. And everyone does it, and one of them was first. And then we get a message. I think it was encrypted. Yes? No?
Yeah, it was so DMD actually like posted a thing about it like on bungie.net, and like it was basically congratulating the person that did the feat. Apparently they've never soloed it before, so that was cool.
Huh.
Yeah, it was the first time, and like they were being helped with like Glad and like other people that have done it before. So that was a thing. And then I don't know if I'll be able to find it, but it was something like, I am Savathun, I am like ravenous or whatever, something like that. And then it was basically
it boiled down to, ha, gotcha.
Yeah, like we've all been tricked and basically made her stronger in that regard.
Yeah, you just fed the queen.
Exactly.
The queen of like trickery and lies and deception.
Right. Yeah, so this is that was very interesting.
Yeah, it kind of actually makes me think that apps, that some of these like, squiggles in the sidelines could potentially be her.
Maybe.
Because remember, Drifter did encrypt it, but it's Savathun.
True.
So,
I mean, Savathun's already technically in the tower.
Yeah, no, they're already like pseudo agents in the tower of Savathun. We are technically one of them.
Yeah, so is Shax.
And pretty much the entire Vanguard.
Yeah.
And a lot of other people too.
Right. So, without further ado, let's keep going.
Alright, camouflage. Report by Van Knight encrypted router. Meaning unclear. Perhaps simply a threat. We are hidden closer than you know. Hey, that's actually kind of the times when we were just talking.
Yeah.
Personal notes. Knotted in a codex of hive gut.
That's new.
That's definitely new. Now I am hiding the truth even from my own friend. I do not want to make them distrust the Vanguard. But I am sure that this warning is genuine, and that it points to a threat in our own ranks. There are inflections to this logograph that speak of a killer hidden in plain sight. I must not become paranoid, as I'm terrible.
Kwangshan.
That did, but I think the warning is for me. I think the enemy wants me safe from my own kind, that I will continue to, and I share them with my friend.
That would be us.
Is that my true purpose? Am I only a conduit for their corruption? I am convinced that the absolute indirect on knowledge of the darkness is misguided. We can understand the enemy without falling under its sway. I can pass through darkness and return, so can others. Perhaps my guidance. Perhaps I can be a teacher. Mara would be horrified if she knew, afraid of me. But my queen, or afraid for me, sorry. But my queen herself stole Oryx's power.
True.
Can communion with the Black Fleet be so much more dangerous? I planted the pineapples. They have already blossomed. The Golden Age agriculturist must have tweaked them for growth and hardiness. Thistles liked me. And Nina asked after their health. I am suspicious of her. She is too eager to please. And who knows which faction that snooping ghost reports to. Chris?
Interesting.
Alright, now you're getting paranoid over pineapples.
Right. Too
Come
paranoid.
on, girl.
Come on, man. But, interesting. But now she's talking about us here.
Literally talking about what we just discussed.
Yeah.
The fact that there is a, what's it called? Music virus that she planted. What was it called? I can't remember the exact terminology. Yeah, like, it was an infectious little song. She hummed a few bars for us. And the Drifter. Yeah. And so did Shax. And so did, pretty much the entire, like, Vanguard. Like, everyone in the tower has already heard this, parasitic music.
I mean, to be fair, we hear it every time we log into Destiny.
Exactly. It's the Shadowkeep theme.
Yeah. Also, apparently, that wasn't Eris humming that.
Oh, it wasn't.
It was the Ahamkara skull above Shax's head.
Uh-huh.
That's being influenced by Savathun.
Yeah.
It's Savathun's song.
Mm-hmm.
Not the strike, but her literal song.
Right, I forgot there was a strike.
It's literally her summoning theme, I think.
Yeah. Anyways.
So, alright. This is the last one, and then, if we have time, we'll get into, the one for Travelers Chosen. Falling. Report by VanNet encrypted router. Another threat of imminent disaster. You declared a new golden age, and our enemy declares a second collapse. They imply it is already in motion, alarming. Personal notes: court in hive leather with a knife. Free fall is indistinguishable from a stable orbit until you strike the ground. Are we already falling? Is our doom fixed? Have I missed the signs of this time? This time? I should ask Osiris. I should ask Ikora. I should ask my own queen. I should ask my queen. I should conjure wretched Toland from the sea of screams and wring the truth from him. Would I be believed? There goes old Eris, they will say, howling about fingertips and revenge again. Oh, that's a callback.
That is a callback.
The fingertips are on my mind.
My spine.
She is lonely, so she prophesies doom. Zavala would believe me, but he would also call me in for rest. Ikora would set me in a library and take care of me, and I would be too glad of it to leave. I cannot. Even my queen knows that some secrets must be kept in solitude. She will understand. She trusts me. I look forward to sharing a meal together. This was short, but we got to take a look into like how Eris is like developing here.
So, as my father once told me long ago, in like a half joke almost, it's not paranoia if they're actually out to get you. So yeah, that's a it's a slippery slope that she may be going down, but honestly, if the slope itself was dangerous to begin with, maybe falling down is not a bad idea.
True.
Anyways,
here we go. So this book right here, you get from the Traveler's Chosen quest.
Yeah. It's a bit of a long one.
It's quite long. Have you read the whole thing?
I have not read the whole thing. I've read like the last half of it.
Okay.
Where it got interesting. My suggestion is we do this for next time because it's very extensive.
Yeah.
And I would love to have a full talk, but we're already well into this.
That's fair. Okay.
It's also getting exceedingly hot and I don't have enough ice packs. You're welcome.
Right. So, with that being said, thank you all so much for watching. Subscribe to both of our channels. Mine is Soto Entertainment. His is Coyote Stash. And of course, follow my Twitch, which is twitch.tv/Oteno. His is twitch.tv/neagle9. All my links are in the About Me. If you click on my name, you'll see my schedule. Remember, I will be taking a break from streaming from the 5th all the way to the 22nd, but I will still be making videos on my free time because I have to study for my certification exams that are on the 20th and 22nd of October. So I won't be covering a lot, but I will still be making my TWAB videos and then maybe some Genshin Impact videos. But other than that, love you all very much. Thank you for being here and stay awesome.
Bye.
Bye.